We're hearing a story from the Brahmana Kundadanta. He met an ascetic one day who was granted the boon of ruling over the world for 7,000 years so that he could enjoy all the subsequent pleasures from that post. And now they've gone to an ashram, the Gauri Ashram, which is where this ascetic and his 7 brothers lived. They were born there. But the hermitage is gone, it's been destroyed. And there's just a tree there with a sage sitting at the base of it in deep meditation. And this sage is going to tell us what happened to the ashram. The sage said, "You see this tree here? Because of my presence here, it blossomed profusely. For some unknown reason, the goddess of learning and speech dwelt here for 10 years, being adored by all the different seasons of the year." The goddess of learning and speech is Saraswati, but here the goddess is Gauri, who's a different goddess, although all goddesses are supposed to emanate from the one female divinity, so let's not worry about that. This place became a dense forest, and it became known as Gauri Vana, or Gauri Forest. In this forest even the goddesses and the women folk of the Siddhas played. Even the gods came here to pay their homage at the feet of the goddess. Gauri is a goddess you pray to if you want to get pregnant. The sage continued. After spending a period of 10 years there, Gauri returned to her place on the left side of Lord Shiva. She was a consort of Shiva's. On account of her touch, this tree never grew old. After some time the forest became an ordinary forest, which the people of the area made use of. At that time I was the king of Malava. I renounced the kingdom and came here to practice penance. I entered into deep meditation here. After some time all of you 8 brothers also came here. After spending some time here, you went away to Sri Mountain, another went to Krancha Mountain, another to Kasi, and yet another to the Himalaya. The remaining 4 continued their penance here. All of them wanted to be rulers of the whole earth. So this ascetic and his brothers all had the same goal. They all obtained appropriate boons from the gods. After enjoying the fruits of their penance, all of them returned home except you. I did not leave this place. The people held me and this tree in great esteem. I have been here for a long time. All this I have seen by my yogic vision. Now you too return home and rejoin your family. He never really explained what happened to the ashram. I suppose it must have just deteriorated in time. But the problem we've got now is, how can these 8 brothers have the fruits of their penance granted, since they all wanted the same thing? They all wanted to be rulers of the earth. In reply to Kundadanta's question, the earth is one, how can 8 people rule it at the same time? The sage said, this is not the only puzzling feature. There are others. In fact, all these 8 brothers will rule the earth within their own house, after they give up their physical bodies. They will also have their wives remain constantly with them as stars. For these wives of theirs were sunk in inconsolable grief when their husbands left their home for doing penance. Women cannot bear separation from their husbands. These women also performed intense penance. Goddess Parvati was pleased with them and asked them to choose a boon. They said, "Just as you love your Lord, we love our husbands. Pray grant that they shall be immortal." But the goddess pointed out that that was contrary to natural order and asked them to choose another boon. They asked, "Even when our husbands die and cast off their bodies, may they not leave the home even for a moment?" The goddess granted the boon, and also granted that their husbands would rule the earth. Soon after this, the 7 brothers returned home. Today the 8th will return too. And that's the one who's being spoken to. So we've got these 8 brothers, They've won their boon and they're not allowed to leave home. They've won their boon that they can be emperors of the earth, but they're not allowed to leave the house. There is yet another wonder in this story. When all the 8 boys had gone away to the forest to perform penance, the grieving parents, accompanied by the wives of the 8 brothers, set out on a pilgrimage. On the way they came across a short-statured, reddish-coloured and ash-besmeared ascetic, who was on the road to the holy place known as Kalapagrama. They did not respect him, but treated him with suspicion. The ascetic, who was Durvasa, was annoyed and cursed them. These sages get angry very easily. You will pay the price for your haughtiness. Though your sons and your daughters-in-law will earn boons from the gods, those boons will produce contrary results. They realized their error and rushed forward to beg the ascetic's pardon. But before they could reach him, he vanished from sight. So this is a typical Vasistha story. Stories within stories. Wheels within wheels. And this is reality. All these things going on. All these confluences.